What's going on, guys? Working on the Dart today, not in the way that I would like to. Uh, this past weekend, I was driving down to meet my dad in town, and about halfway to where I was meeting him, I started hearing a real bad engine noise, like a metal to metal hard contact type of noise. We hauled it back home and tried to diagnose what we could. I pulled the valve covers off, couldn't really find anything that was like super telling as to what the noise was. So right now I'm about to get ready to pull this intake off, but this is what it sounded like. So I have my theories of what it is. Dad has his theories. Patrick has his theories. We're all kind of troubleshooting, trying to figure out like what is that noise. It's really rough. It's intermittent sometimes. So I'm gonna pop this intake off and try to figure out if I can find something. Good possibility this engine's gonna have to come out. So that's a bummer, but we'll just see. I'm about to dive into this and carry y'all along. Alright, so the intake is off. With this off now, we should be able to find something. I actually may have to turn it over, like kick the starter a little bit to see if I can see anything major. So far it's looking fine. No white lobes. Doesn't look like any push rods bent that I can tell. Cam bearings look to be in place. Can't see the front one, but I don't know. Everything looks fine right there. I'm gonna see if I can spin the engine over and see if there's just something hiding that I don't see. So I called Dad, see what he thought. I didn't see anything just then. I just loosened the rockers up, take some tension off the cam, and take a little tension off of the lifters, and I'm gonna try to spin it over, see if I can see or hear anything different. So that's the plan. It's looking like it's going to have to come out. It is definitely not looking good. The high possibility that it could have spun a cam bearing. There's a direct oil supply from that rib right there that supplies these rockers, and I was having like a weird oil pressure issue. When you crank it up cold, the oil pressure is like it slowly rises up to 50, and that kind of happened out of nowhere, you know. So I wasn't really sure. I haven't been seeing any bearing material. Hasn't really been making any noises until now. So I didn't know what that was, but Daddy thinks that the cam bearing has spun or is spinning. I couldn't see it just then, but if it has spun, one, it's not lubricating the rockers. Two, it can cause a fluctuation in oil pressure. So that's a good possibility to what has happened. I'm not going to do it today, but I'm thinking 372 is going to have to come out. And if that's the case, I'm really hoping that it hasn't cracked the block. If it's spun that cam bearing, there's a good possibility that it's cracked the block, and I have more blocks to build. It's just got a lot of money and tied up into this, and hopefully it's not a piston or a wrist pin or something like that that's making the bad noise. So I may come out here some this week and get ready to pull it out and see what's up with it. All right, so engine's pretty much ready to come out. I'm sure I forgot something here and there, but as far as I can tell, everything's ready to come out. I'm just gonna leave the transmission. Don't mind the ratchet strap, but just gonna leave the transmission and try to pull the engine plate and everything out as one. So let's hope this goes good. So got the heads off, or the head off. The only thing, I mean, that doesn't really tell me anything, but like I'm only seeing how much cleaner that piston is compared to the others, but you know, fuel could have been cleaning that up, I don't know. But seems to be fine right here. The head looks great. Nothing wrong with the head. So I'm gonna turn this thing sideways and do the other side. So second head is off, and everything seems to be fine. I'm seeing a little bit of scarring right there. I don't feel anything, but there is a little bit of mark there. Rest of the cylinders, everything looks fine. I'm about to pull all of these lifters out, put them in order, see if I see anything there, and then if that looks fine, I guess I'm gonna take the front cover off. I didn't really want to do that, but gotta diagnose it. So let's check that and see what we find. So we didn't have a puller at Patrick's, but me and Dad are gonna go tomorrow and pick up a puller at his work and come back and try to figure out what it is from there, but we'll pick up then. sense to me as to why.
Yeah, get the crank a little bit there.
Look what I did.
Yeah. It was spinning a bearing, it looked like.
That's what it was. Cause look, like that's in there.
Yeah.
I guess it makes you feel a little better that we found something. That's gotta be.
Just don't know what happened though. That's the thing. You look at this side, see where it's hot.
Which these have like a, well, yeah, it's definitely more than that one. These are like darker bearings, but still.
That's got hot.
Well, there's definitely, there's our culprit. I don't know if you can see that. But there's a major lip. There's really pretty much on every piston on the passenger side seems to have bearing wear. And that's the side that we were having issues with the head getting oil. I don't really know why. We're trying to figure that out now, but something went wrong with the crank. There must have been a oil galley or something that was blocking and just causing issues all the way up to the head. I don't know. Something started there, but let me show you this bearing that we found. So this, just giving you an idea, like that one's got some specs on it, but this is a good bearing. This is the bearing. This is the rod and the bearing next to the one of the bad one. So I'm just giving you an example. And this was right next to it. Like a lot of heat. You can kind of see it's like flattened out. Back side of it, you know, just discolorated, just real bad. These are dark kind of bearings anyway, but, and then this is the rod knock. Like you see the lips. And they're not all this bad, but pretty much every one on that same bank, on that same side of on the block look very similar. They're not all that bad, but they're all copper weared. I mean, they're pretty bad. So this is the oil pump cam gear, and that sleeve is supposed to be in the block. So I was telling Dad, like, I would go to just barely rev it up to maybe like 3,000, and it sounded like lifters, like, sounded like a weird, like, clack, like a lifter noise. And after checking the lifters, every one of them looked perfect. Like, nothing's wrong with the cam, none of that. I mean, I know a plunger could be collapsing, but everything looked fine with that. But if that is spinning in there and creating space, that could possibly be some of that chatter that I was hearing. So we think we found, you know, the rod knock there with the bearings, and then we think we found the chatter noise that, you know, simulated a lifter chatter. So luckily we found it. It's not what I wanted at all. That's not what I wanted to find. I mean, a cam bearing, you know, that would have been best case scenario for trying to build another engine, you know, or just fix that engine. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably gonna find another crank, possibly get some more rods, and I guess just go from there, see what happens. It's got to get cleaned again, new cam bearings, just the whole deal. So, but I think I'm gonna end it off there, and appreciate y'all watching. Hope y'all enjoyed this little breakdown, kind of disassembly of this small block. So we'll catch y'all in the next one.